Hello there, and welcome to this small guide to Rubric at Seetham. This little video is made just to ensure continuity and also to ensure that we are all on the same page. Let me state here that by no means this is a comprehensive document. I would want this to be a starting point where everybody quickly gets to write their own rubric and perhaps start using it. As we go along, we will try to refine it, perhaps with all the input from you. Maybe we'll refine this into a real good set of rubrics for all the courses we have. A few good references are given. This rubric best practices examples and templates is a video link. This Moodle Docs is also a video link. And these two are books. You may want to bug the librarian again and again to procure these. And these four will be very good starting points for writing a rubric. With that said, let us jump into the video straight away. Let us begin from the first slide. We'll give a formal definition, and of course, just like all formal definitions, this is as obscure and esoteric as it can be. We will say that the subject is S, and the rubric we represent by this R sub S, which we say is a triad of a set of triads. This AITISI within the round brackets, it forms a triad where this AI is scoring attribute, TI is a set of threshold values, SI is set of assigned scores. Specified this way, rubric will not be appreciated at all. We'll try to explain it with an example. We'll try to see a few points regarding the rubric and then look at an example. We'll write rubric basically to ensure that a student is assessed in an unbiased way, that the entire class is assessed in the same way, that is to ensure uniformity. And also, if the student knows the method by which we evaluate him, he or she will know what to expect next, and he will prepare well and do well. That is the idea. And rubric is generally written for courses or things where evaluation is based on more than one criterion, such as a laboratory course or a project work or a presentation and so on. It is not generally written for theory courses, because for such courses evaluating is based on a written script, and in such cases a solution scheme will suffice as a rubric. And now I think we are ready to present an example. We'll see how we evaluate a hypothetical thing and then come to a practical case. Let us say that you are planning to buy a house. When you are planning to buy a house, you will see several candidate houses, and then somehow or the other mentally you grade them and then pick one that has highest score. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to see how we can assess a house. Okay. Typically, when you want to do such a thing for a house, you will have several considerations. For example, you may be interested in location of the house. We call it A1. Or you may be interested in what is its carpet area, A2. Or you may be interested in how well connected is it. Is it connected by rail, road, air, ship, and so on. So we consider what we call attributes A1, A2, and A3. With that, we also have what we call a set of threshold values. Let us see what they are in the next slide. These attributes they vary from person to person. Some people may have a long list of attributes. For example, like what is the carpet area? What is the area around the house? Is there a lot of greenery? Do you have a pond nearby, park nearby, and so many such typical attributes that may be there. I have taken only three considerations and would like to grade the house that I want to buy using only these three attributes. You may note here that these attributes may vary from person to person, but here we will stick only to these three attributes, which we name them as A1, A2 and A3. We'll try to consider each of these attributes A1, A2, A3 and see what we can do about them. Let us say we consider this attribute A1. For this A1, you may have several values, several threshold values. Your location may be in an urban location in a big city, we call it T11, and it may be a rural setting near a big city, we call it T12, and we may have the house in a small city in an urban location, we call T13. It may be in a small city in a rural setting, T14, or it may be situated in a slum area. So for location as an attribute, you have threshold values T11, T12, T13, T14, T15 as given here, urban location or small city or slum area and so on and so forth. So for A1 we have threshold values, and so we say that this T1, the threshold value set 1 is T11, T12, T13, T14, T15. I'm using these symbols because it will be very tedious to write all these again and again in an urban location, in a big city, in a rural setting near a big city and so on. So we use such a notation. Typically we give scores to each one of these threshold values for T11, T12, T13, T14 and T15. Typically these are either increasing or decreasing in the order of desirability. We'll see what is that in the next slide. We'll assign scores to each one of these threshold values. Let us do that. Let us say for T11 the score is 5, for T12 the score is 4, for T13 it is 3, similarly for T15 it is 1. Hence we say that the set of scores S1 as 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Notice that there will be as many scores as there are threshold values. That is, the number of elements in T1 and number of elements in S1 is the same. Similarly, for attribute A2, we may consider A2 is carpet area. We may consider between 1500 and 2000 is T21, between 2001 and 2015 T2, and then it is T23. You can see you have A2 here, it is T21, T22 and T23. So the digit here and the first subscript here are the same. So for A2 we have threshold values 21, 22, 23, and we say the set of threshold values T2 is T set of all these three, and we may assign scores 50, 20, 10. Again, these scores are kind of arbitrary and they depend on the person who is making that choice. I may say this is 50, somebody may say it is 10, or somebody may say this is 100 and so on. But we do that according to a meaningful criterion. Carefully note that the number of elements in T1 need not be the same as number of elements in T2. Having seen the second attribute, we'll go to the third one. Third one is connectedness. By bus, is it connected? By train, is it connected? By air, is it connected? And so on. Okay. So we say by bus, we'll say it is one threshold value. By train it is another, by air it is another. If it is connected by any two, we say it is another threshold value. If it is connected by all the three, we say it is another threshold value. So for attribute 3 we have several threshold values: 3 1, 3 2, 3 3, 3 4, and 3 5. So we say attribute threshold value set T3 is given by all these, and we may assign scores 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in increasing order. Again, you may want to note that the number of elements in T3, it need not be the same as the number of elements in T2 or number of elements in T1. But note that the number of elements in T3 and S3 are the same, number of elements in T2 and S2 are the same, number of elements in T1 and S1 are the same. Let's continue this example. Now that we defined all the elements in the rubric for evaluating a house, we may say that the rubric for scoring a candidate house is given by our house is A1, T1, S1, this is one triad, A2, T2, S2, this is another triad, A3, T3, S3, this is another triad. This kind of setup defines the grading scheme for a house. Any candidate house will fall at a particular point in A1, T1, S1, A2, T2, S2, and A3, T3, S3. We'll see that in a little bit more detail in subsequent slides. There are three triads, and we say the number of rules in RH is 3. Equation wise, this sounds very good. Maybe mathematicians like it, they may even love it, but if you specify it in a table like this, teachers will make faces that we cannot see. So we specify it as a table in the next slide. So we specify the rubric as a table as shown here. You see in the first column you have attributes A1, A2, A3. Then for A1 you have these are the threshold values T1, T2, T3, T4, T5. Okay, this is urban big city, rural big city, small city, slum area, and so on. Just to make the representation small, we have these symbols. Otherwise you can just write urban city, rural big city, and so on. And these are the scores that we assign. For example, you have a particular house. Okay, that house, let us say, is located in a small city in urban location. The corresponding score is 3. We put the score 3 here. Similarly, according to the carpet area, let us say it is somewhere 1800. That is, it falls in 1500 to 2000. Okay, the corresponding score is 50, and we drag it here, put it here. Let us say that it is connected by maybe bus and train, or bus and air, or train and air, or bus and air, any two of them. So the score is 5. You sum up the scores, 55 plus 3 is 58. Now how did this 61 come? This 61 is the sum of the maximum scores. Here it is 5, then here it is 50, 55, 55 plus 6 is 61. That is how we obtain the score 58 by 61. So when we write this rubric for any given subject, let us say the subject has a maximum score of, let us say, 100. We want 100 to be here. Correspondingly, we'll play around with these numbers in a meaningful way to ensure that 100 comes here. We see the maximum marks for each house is given by 61, which we already explained. For each house, there will be one score. Depending on these three attributes, each home we select will fall into one of these categories, A1 or A2 or A3, and within those categories it will fall into one of the threshold values. Depending on the values we give a score. This kind of gives an overall idea, just like what we are doing for assessing or grading a house. We need to grade each student in a given particular scenario. So we have certain attributes and we have some threshold values and we have some scores, and each student will fall into one particular location, one particular threshold value in each attribute. In A1 he will lie somewhere, in A2 he will lie somewhere, A3 he will lie somewhere. Correspondingly we'll evaluate a score. We will consider one more example, that of building a rubric for engineering workshop. Okay, I will write down the details and I'll let you think about it. Again, I've chosen three attributes, A1, A2 and A3. These attributes I've taken as punctuality, skill component and error in the measurement of the work piece that he made. So A1 is punctuality, A2 is skill component, A3 is error. And I take threshold values as for punctuality, coming before time, less than 5 minutes late, greater than 5 minutes late. Similarly, for skill component, I will specify tools, sketch and process. These tools I've written a brief word here, but actually what I meant to say here was that the candidate can identify the tools that are needed to make the work piece. Then sketch means he can draw a sketch of the tool and also the job piece that he is expected to make along with neat dimensions. And this process would mean that he can describe what is the exact sequence of steps that he needs to take to obtain the work piece. And then T3, the error, average error in dimensions that he achieves, less than 2%, 2 to 5%, 5 to 10% and greater than 10%. Correspondingly, we have the scores 20, 10 and 0. That is, if the error is greater than 10, it is 0. Let me back up a little bit and take back my word. This S1 is the set of scores corresponding to T1. Before time, 20 points, less than 5 minutes late, 10 points, greater than 5 minutes late, 0 points. Similarly, the set S2 will contain 10, 10, 10. That is, if you can explain tools well, you get 10 points. If you can draw a sketch, 10 points. Process, 10 points. This threshold value set 2 is a bit peculiar from what we have been seeing. We'll see what we mean in a little while. Similarly, the set S3 will be 50, 40, 30, 10. They're corresponding to 2%, 2 to 5, 5 to 10 and 10%. We'll put this in the form of a table as shown here. These three, A1, A2, A3 are attributes. This T1, T11, T12, T13 are the threshold values. These are the scores for A1. Similarly, for A2, if you can identify the tools required, you get 10 points. If you can draw a sketch of them along with the sketch of the component to be made, 10 points. And then if you can clearly explain the procedure before he sets to do it, it is 10 points. Similarly, for error, less than 2%, 2 to 5, 5 to 10 and greater than 10%. You may want to carefully note that this is not the ideal set. A person who is engaged in this workshop practical course may have correct knowledge of what attributes to take and what threshold values to take, and what scores to assign based on his experience. This is a template that I thought would work. For all practical purposes, it may not work. So be very careful to choose this A1, A2, A3 and all these threshold values and scores. So this is the template for evaluating the students. Let us say we have one student who came in maybe more than 5 minutes late, maybe 7 minutes late. The corresponding score is 0 and the 0 is taken over here. As we said, this A2, we consider it as a cumulative attribute. Cumulative attribute in the sense that the score according to this is the sum of this plus this plus this. The scores of these three attributes, we can sum it up. This we may call in a rough sense as a cumulative attribute. Let us say that this student can explain the tools needed and identify them reasonably well. So we issue him a partial score of 8. Similarly, if he can make sketches not so well, reasonably okay, so you give a partial score 7. Similarly, he can describe the process very well, so you give him a score of 9. 9 plus 7 plus 8 is 24 is his score for attribute A2. Note carefully here that this in general may not be a good idea because it brings in subjective values. Some may say 8 here for tools. Other teacher, if he evaluate the same candidate, he may say 10. This is subjective. So this kind of partial scoring should be avoided, but I include it here only to tell you that that is possible, with a very careful note that such a thing should be used very carefully. Okay. Now come to the third one, error. Let us say the student got average error to be greater than 10, so his score is 10 here. Okay, so this 10 plus 24 plus 0 is 34. Numerator is fine, but what about the denominator? To find the denominator, you can see the maximum here is 20 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10, which is 50, plus this 50, 100. So 34 out of 100. I think we covered the most of what is needed to prepare rubric in a reasonable way. I would encourage all the teachers to watch this video 2 or 3 times and go through the material given in 2 links, as well as the textbooks specified, and take any one laboratory course, discuss carefully with the head of the department, dean academics and senior teachers to identify what attributes you can put them down. Then carefully identify the threshold values, this is the threshold values, and